church in Dang's district of Gujarat state was attacked by Hindu Jagran Manch. It was a major attack because there was a BJP government at the center and BJP government in Gujarat state.
Arbitrary arrests under anti-conversion laws, forced displacement, closure and destruction of places of worship, social boycott, economic boycott, and really a kind of economic deprivation and clear intimidation by groups, of really hapless Christian citizens. Most testimonies that we heard highlighted the targeting of small home churches, something not many of us may be familiar with, but really like a small room as part of a home where people gather, a small congregation gathers to pray. And sometimes people praying together in a home in a village. And this is especially in remote rural Adivasi areas. What was most stark while members of the tribunal traveled to some parts was the absence of the state as we expect it to be. We expect the state to be there for the weakest of its citizens, to sort of work on behalf of them, and clearly that was not happening. In fact, we heard very clearly of state actors repeatedly furthering the oppression, being part of the victimization, further victimizing victims. So there are several acts of omission and commission clearly from the state in these regions, but no commission of inquiry. So we thought it's important to bring the voice of Christians that are facing oppression, but clearly nothing and nobody is cooperating enough, and there's plenty to be done. Shall I just? Okay, thank you. Through April in Chhattisgarh, May in Orissa, and yesterday at the capital's Constitution Club, we heard really heartbreaking descriptions of expulsions from homes and villages, prayer meetings happening in small homes subject to really dastardly attacks, arbitrary arrests under anti-conversion laws, forced displacement, closure and destruction of places of worship, social boycott, economic boycott, and really a kind of economic deprivation and clear intimidation by groups, of really hapless Christian citizens. Most testimonies that we heard highlighted the targeting of small home churches, something not many of us may be familiar with, but really like a small room as part of a home where people gather, a small congregation gathers to pray. And sometimes people praying together in a home in a village. And this is especially in remote rural Adivasi areas. What was most stark while members of the tribunal traveled to some parts was the absence of the state as we expect it to be. We expect the state to be there for the weakest of its citizens, to sort of work on behalf of them, and clearly that was not happening. In fact, we heard very clearly of state actors repeatedly furthering the oppression, being part of the victimization, further victimizing victims. So there are several acts of omission and commission clearly from the state in these regions, but no commission of inquiry into this. And therefore we thought the silence and the looking away, including of our urban population to this whole problem, needs to be set aside. And this attempt that John described of bringing the stories of what is happening in northern India, in Rajasthan, in Chhattisgarh, in Madhya Pradesh, in Orissa, Jharkhand, etc., to Delhi, so that you can really take it further. There's one thing that, as a member of the tribunal, I would really urge you to do, if it's possible, is actually to travel to these places yourself. Listen to the people and their stories, and that's the only way you will understand what is happening and how shocking it is that it is happening in current day India and that we don't even hear about it. Clearly we want more of you to take these trips like we did, and of course we can try and connect you to people there who can help you see what is happening more clearly. But we urge you to make those field trips, speak to the people, and really amplify their voices.
Violence against Christians is being invisibilized and normalized. Invisibilized by when media does not cover, or the state looks the other way when violence is happening. And we heard many testimonies, and we saw in this video also, where often violence is always accompanied by policemen while the violence is going on, and the policeman is either silent, and the presence of the state comes by filing cases against victims of violence. In 1998, on 24th December, church in Dang's district of Gujarat state was attacked by Hindu Jagran Manch. It was a major attack because there was a BJP government at the center and BJP government in Gujarat state. The then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee visited the place, and we were expecting that the Prime Minister will talk about the violence, will express empathy with the victims, what happened to the victims. But the Prime Minister called for a debate on conversions happening. So it sort of legitimized the violence against Christians in 1998, and that same template is being followed now. Undertake violence, attack Christians, their prayer meetings, etc. Level baseless, fake allegations, and then media amplifies those allegations as if Christians are converting and big number are getting converted, and that's being a threat. This violence also comes from a feeling, and the feeling is that is being popularized in this country, or attempt is being made to popularize feeling, and the feeling is that this country, this nation belongs to Hindus. And it is from that feeling, that reflection of that feeling, that we saw on the ground. Non-Christians, those who were attacking Christians, were saying that this village belongs to us, to the non-Christian tribals. It doesn't belong to the Christians. So as if Christians and Muslims are enemies of this nation and they have no place in this nation. Trivial things, and the accusations are so trivial. We all celebrate our birthday with cutting a cake. I'm sure all of us here might have cut cake during our birthday or birthday of our children or grandchildren or some of our relatives. Now even that is considered as an act of conversion. When tribals celebrate their birthday by cutting cake, that is considered as an act of conversion. So this feeling of we-ness and the otherness is being intensified through this violence. And this violence plays a very crucial role in that. I would like to bring one more aspect into our observation, and that is violence increases as it is accompanied by laws that are brought to further marginalize and victimize Christians. So it is a laws marginalize Christians, and then it emboldens these lynch mobs to attack the anti-conversion laws. The more the anti-conversion laws, the stricter the anti-conversion laws are made. These anti-conversion laws are weaponized by these mobs in attacking. We have one figure in 2014, there were 240 cases of attacks on Christians. Now after amendments and new legislations being passed, anti-conversion legislations being passed in 12 states, now in 2026 the cases increased to 980. So the more these anti-conversion laws or anti-Christian or anti-minority or anti-democratic laws, the more violence gets encouraged by the state. And the state files cases against the victims rather than on perpetrators. Violence is increasing also because there is environment of impunity. This attack is not only attack on Christians, it is attack on democracy. It is attack on rule of law. It is attack on our constitution. And I believe I joined as a jury member in this tribunal because I wanted to know the situation of attacks on Christians, but also I thought that it's my duty, not because I'm a Christian or non-Christian, but because I'm a citizen of this country who has stake in democracy and the constitution. The last point that I want to bring, it was gut-wrenching when we heard about rapes of nuns in Jhabua, in Alirajpur, in Kandhamal, where nuns were being raped, and it was, as I said, normalized and invisibilized on the other hand. Pregnant women, they were attacked by kicks and lathis, and which led to miscarriage. Those cases were brought before us. I personally in Jhabua talked to a woman, not as a part of this this commission, but separately. It's by personally I talked to a Christian woman in Jhabua. It was really gut-wrenching. I couldn't bear to hear. She was in her 7th month of pregnancy. They had assembled to celebrate Christmas and pray in a house where this Hindutva mobs gathered and attacked and kicked on her. It was visible that she was pregnant. To cause miscarriage is a grave offense in this country. But nothing happened to the perpetrators of that violence, which led to miscarriage of this woman. And thankfully they had other children later on. But the whole experience of pregnant women being attacked and causing miscarriage, of sexual assaults being looking the other way where these sexual assaults are being carried. There have been also cases of using bulldozers to demolish prayer houses of Christians. So, I mean, it's endless, the social boycott, the use of bulldozers, dead bodies being exhumed and thrown on roads, not allowing burials to Christians. What else can we say? Is there rule of law in this country is the question. I hope we together can bring about this awareness and fight for constitution rule.
नेशनल दस्तक की आपसे गुजारिश है कि अगर इसको बचाना चाहते हैं तो नेशनल दस्तक को सब्सक्राइब करने के लिए रेड कलर के सब्सक्राइब बटन को दबाएं, फिर बेल आइकन की घंटी दबाएं। नेशनल दस्तक को बचाने के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हर खबर को शेयर करें, लाइक करें, कमेंट जरूर करें।